Hello and welcome to Netflix versus Cinema, the podcast that goes to the cinema every week, watches things, stays at home, watches things on various streaming platforms, and asks you that question: big screen or big stream, cinema or sofa? Which one will you spend your money in?
Let's get ready to rumble!
My name is Tosin, and I'm the host, who has managed to bring cinema back because this week I've been to the cinema not one, not two, but three times. Three times. Can you tell that my family have left me alone for half term? Joining me as always on the Isle of Wight is Sean Harris.
Hello.
Yeah, and also joining me on the Isle of Wight is Sharon Bolland.
Hello.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, we were just having a chat about how things are going and about dumping stuff because I've spent the day breaking up concrete and taking it to a dump and then having to leave the queue for the dump because I was like, I need to get to the cinema to see Mandalorian and Grogu, and you will find out later whether that was worth it or not. But anyway, let's kick off. Let's dive straight to this and let's talk about what is it that we have seen in the cinema in the last week. Sean.
Okay, well, I went to see Obsession.
Yes.
It looked quite intriguing from the thing, and
The horror
yesterday I
movie
went.
that everybody is banging on about right now.
Yeah.
I can't move for people talking about how great this film is. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll see. And so, what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, and the Mandalorian and Grogu. So I
Yep.
watched that.
Mandalorian and Grogu. You went as well. You went as well.
I
And
did,
we
and I
got-
went. The reason I went, it was I've got a friend. I popped round a friend's house who does 3D printing now, and he's done like guns from Gears of War. He's done.
Nice.
He's like he had this whole thing. I went, that's a RoboCop pistol. That's the pistol that Clint Eastwood used in High Plains Drifter. He goes, yeah, that's right. He goes, I said, what's the one up on the wall? There was one with like this chain seal thing that he said, oh, that's Gears of War. He had them all lined up, and pulse rifle. Yeah.
Oh, aliens.
Yeah, aliens. He had like loads, but it was just like, whoa. He said, what do you want me to do for you? I said, I'll have a Colt 1911, please. From the Wild Hunt.
So has he done that or is he doing that?
No, he said, oh, I'll have a look. And he found this thing, and I don't know, the program.
Well, essentially, you find the pretty much the almost like the architect's drawing of the thing you want to 3D
Yeah,
print,
yeah.
and then you feed it into a 3D printer, and then it just sort of like carries on, and then you come back and you have this thing. It
He
is.
said- Yeah, he said, oh, that's no good. That one, we'll find a better one than that. But
It is a little bit like magic. I'm not gonna lie. It is a little bit like magic. I mean, I was in a workshop the other day about how to use AI to make an app, and I'm not lying to you. I had a working app in about 10 minutes.
wow.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like that. Okay, that is a little bit scary. Okay, so Mandalorian and Grogu and Obsession. Sharon, what have you seen in the cinema this week?
I have had a cinema fail this week, so I haven't seen anything.
Cinema fail. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You have the thing is like Sharon. You are like for the last month or so. You have been a constant reminder to us that there are more important things in life, and I'm not sure I like it. So, yeah, there are more important things in life than getting to the cinema each week to watch stuff. But okay, cool. So that's it. Okay, well, how about at home, Sharon? What have you seen?
I have seen a couple of things, not in their entirety though, so I'm still wading through. I'm
Yep.
still wading through Widow's Bay and enjoying that. The creepy
Hasn't
factor
finished yet, has it?
is ratcheting up. Hasn't finished yet. It's another one released tonight, so
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of messages between you and Holly of Holly essentially hiding behind her cats to watch Widow's Bay.
yeah.
Essentially,
Finding the
Holly
creepy
seems to
factor.
Holly seems to have been designing her WhatsApp messages to make me want to watch this show.
So that's my mid watch. I've started to watch the World War II with Tom Hanks.
Oh
So
yeah,
I've
yeah, yeah.
watched the first 3 episodes of that. Yeah, working through that. So they're the ones that are ongoing. But I have seen a film on Netflix called Small
This is
Things Like
always a good
Things.
sign. This is always a good sign.
I think
Sorry,
that's
sorry.
what
What
it's
was
called.
that? What was it called?
I think it's something like Small Things Like These. It's with Cillian Murphy.
Oh, small things like these. This is one set in Ireland.
Yes, Ireland in the.
Okay, yep. I think I do remember hearing about that film. I do remember hearing about that film. And also, you still have the Other Bennett Sister.
Yes, the Other Bennett Sister. I finished that. Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let's see. Let's see what shall be on the chopping block today. Small things like this. Okay. Cool. And oh, I guess I didn't say anything about what I saw at the cinema. I saw. Oh, I saw Obsession because everybody was raving about this film, and obviously, as I said, I've been to the cinema three times on 3 different days this week because my family have left me alone, and I'm like, thank you. It's as much as I miss them, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of fun because I don't think I've been left alone on my own for such a long time. So it's like, so yeah, I went to see Obsession. I went to see Mandalorian and Grogu. I just came out of the cinema to see that after seeing that one. And I went to see The Sheep Detectives because I was like, I want to catch this film before it disappears. Because after refusing to watch The Christophers because of Ian McKellen, and then realizing that it was directed by Steven Soderbergh, I was like, oh no! I was like, oh no! And then, of course, it's out of the cinemas now. It's disappeared. It disappeared like the day after I realized it was directed by Steven Soderbergh. So it's kind of like, yeah. So I just decided I was going to catch The Sheep Detective before it disappeared. All right, so that's me. And
Hey,
sure,
is it still on at Cineworld?
Yes.
Our
She-
Cineworld? I thought it's still on at our Cine. Yeah. No. What about the Christophers? Was that
I
gone?
don't think so unless it's on tonight, but I don't. It might still be on today and tomorrow, but I'm not sure.
Anyway, that's it. So,
oh, okay, cool. And so Sean, how about you? What about at home? What are you seeing?
yeah, I've seen loads of stuff actually. I've seen loads of stuff. But the main things I can think of is I saw that new Mel Gibson thing. I think it's called Hunting Season or something. I can't remember. I've just watched that the other day on Amazon. And I finished watching The Boys on Amazon. And
Oh,
the weekend I went to a school reunion and
oh
I
yeah.
met up with a really old friend of mine called Paul, and we used to be into our comics really, really, really big time. We used to even sort of sell them. We had a little fanzine thing when I was like about 14.
Yeah.
And he loved the Punisher and the comic, and he said, "Do you want to come and see the Punisher? Do you want to come round for coffee and see the Punisher?"
Oh,
in
one
the
last
morning?"
bill.
I thought, yeah, because he had Disney, so because he likes all that stuff. So I watched it, and it's only 45 minutes, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know. It was that was one of the things that I was thinking I could watch before the show, but I forgot about it.
We can save it. We can save it. We got enough other stuff.
Yeah, we have got enough other stuff. We've got enough other stuff. Okay, cool. I'm gonna say, Sharon, just so you are not sitting here wondering why am I here for the whole time while Sean and I are prattling about stuff. We're gonna have small things like this and the Other Bennett Sister. And Sean, I really want to hear what you think about how The Boys finished because
Okay.
I want to because that's the final season of The Boys, and I want to
Yeah.
see. I want to see essentially if you can
You've
convince
seen
me.
it, yeah? You've watched
I
it
haven't.
all.
No, I haven't. I
Oh
haven't watched any of The Boys season 5. I think
no!
I think it kind of fell by the wayside a bit, and I think it was kind of I got to the point where I was a bit kind of like, no, yeah, I just can't be bothered anymore. There's a little bit of that, but so essentially, Sean, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to say something to convince me to watch The Boys season 5.
Okay.
All right, but cool. But let us start off with cinema, as is our own. That's where we usually start off. We start off in cinema, and we are going to kick off talking about The Mandalorian and Grogu. So, The Mandalorian, for those of you who don't know, The Mandalorian was a Disney Plus show after Disney bought Lucasfilm, and this is how they kind of brought Star Wars back, at least for me anyway. Because I remember that they had the Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, which for me, I just after watching that film, I signed off from Star Wars. I was like, that's it, I'm off. Just leave me alone, never
Yeah.
darken my door again, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then The Mandalorian, I was like, oh, actually, there might be life in this old dog yet. Because I like the way The Mandalorian did and the whole Western thing and the whole sort of like lone wolf and cub idea of him walking around with this baby and everything like that. And I thought it was quite cool. And so they've done 3 seasons of The Mandalorian. I think by the 3rd season, I was kind of over it. And then they mentioned that they were going to make The Mandalorian and Grogu a movie. They were going to make a movie about this, and this was going to be the first Star Wars big screen movie in years. And so they've made the film. Because of the way that the Mandalorian season 3 ended, I was not particularly that enamored with the idea of this film. But I thought, you know what, it's going to be a big talking point. I should probably go see this film. I have now gone to see this film, and I think I wasted my time. Quite frankly. I mean, I'm just going to come straight out of the bat and say that. I think I wasted my time. I mean, I think story-wise, well, the Mandalorian is a bounty hunter. They mess with things and time ways, and like the way essentially, I think the character development is a bit weird because it seems like they keep resetting it. Like, oh, we've learned something, and then all of a sudden, the next time you come back for the next season, we seem to not have learned that thing, and we're just gonna put this. So back now, he's the bounty hunter again, and he's working for the New Republic, tracking down people from the Empire after the Death Star because this is set in after Return of the Jedi, but before the Force Awakens. It's set in that time period. And so you meet him, and he's a bounty hunter again, working for the New Republic, who is represented by Sigourney Weaver, who tells him, go do this, go do that, go do that. And he goes to meet the Hutts. So these are the people who've taken over after Jabba the Hutt, and these are the new versions of the Hutt. And he has to, essentially, because of reasons, he has to track down Jabba's son and bring him back, and blah 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 blah. And that's essentially the storyline. The storyline is one of those: oh, you go here to get the guy to do the thing, but before you can get this, you have to go there and get this. Before you can get that, you have to go there and get that. Before you can do that, you have to go there. It's one of those storylines.
Just a story of action pieces, really, wasn't it?
It's just like, you know, a way of linking set pieces. And I don't know about you, Sean, but I kind of felt that this felt very much like a couple of episodes strung together. Like you could almost...
the TV, yeah. Maybe that was it. I mean, there was one bit where they're going over one planet, and I thought, well, that might look good in 3D, you know, or something like that. If it was, or IMAX or something like that, it might have worked better. But you know, as a visual spectacle. But yeah, no, I agree. It was just a series of set piece, and it just seemed inconsistent as well with different. Do you know what I mean? It's like
I know exactly what you mean.
I totally agree. I totally understand what you're saying, and I think Sigourney Weaver. It's the worst thing I've seen her in. I think the acting absolutely sucks. I don't know why on earth they must have paid her a shitload of money.
I unfortunately I agree with you on that, man. Unfortunately, I was watching it going, what is wrong with Sigourney Weaver? She's a legend. Usually she shows up at stuff, like, you know, stuff happens, but what have they
totally
done?
Unconvincing. But I tell you what, don't you think, because Scorsese's in this, isn't he?
Oh yeah. Martin Scorsese.
I thought he was sounded more like Woody Allen.
Yeah,
Think about it. It was like
it was
Woody
like
Allen,
Martin Scorsese doing a Woody Allen impression. It was a bit like that. I mean, you might guess there's a lot of people in this film who are playing CGI characters because they're playing aliens and everything like that because it's Star Wars. I mean, there was a version of this where it felt like Star Wars bingo or Star Wars, like a Star Wars jukebox. It's like there is a bit where you're standing in this water, and guess what? There's something underneath the water, and this thing is going to pop out, and I'm going to grab you and pull you down. Have we seen that before? Yes.
Yes. They borrowed a lot of the set pieces from other movies.
It felt
John
like.
Wick.
It is like, well, there were things I was watching this, and there were bits where I was like, you know, even if I'm not sure what it is they're referencing, I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I feel, and it just keeps going. And the thing that annoyed me, I remember the last season of The Mandalorian. The thing that was Grogu. So Grogu is the thing that originally, when we saw him, he was called Baby Yoda. Everybody referred to him as Baby Yoda because that's essentially what he is. He's a young version of Yoda, pretty much. Like, and they have this whole arc for him. I mean, because there's a section of this film that's pretty much silent because it's all based around Grogu. It's all based around Grogu. And this was the thing where I was like, now, if this was a TV show, that would be a brilliant episode because it's Grogu going around doing this thing and everything like that. But in the middle of the film, it feels like, okay, this is just like that. It just lent to that idea of these are a couple of episodes just jammed together. And I was thinking, like, they have this whole big thing, like, at the end, he does this big thing, like, dun, 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 look what he can do, check him out. And I'm like, hang on, isn't that just what he did at the end of season 1? So essentially, it feels like they just keep resetting him as to, he's like Yoda, so he's supposed to have force powers, but you keep revising what he can do and what he can't do. And I'm just kind of like, what the hell?
Was it very busy, your performance? Mine was there was a lot of people in there actually.
Mine was in the middle of the
I
day.
went to a 7 o'clock performance because obviously I went round to see the friend before, and it
Yeah.
was it was pretty busy.
Well, it was the middle of the day. I saw it in the middle of the day, and being half term, I mean, I think there were quite a few people in there. It was probably about 10% full for a 2:30 showing.
Right.
Oh, and there was also a 2 o'clock showing, so I can imagine I wouldn't have been like. But yeah, I think it was pretty good because I mean it's Star Wars, so it's going to make money. But I honestly do not know what the point of this film is. I don't know what. I mean, even if you're trying to make like a little knockaway adventure, at least tell the story better. I mean, I essentially I despaired a bit when this film finished. I despaired a bit. I don't know, Sean. What do you think about? What do you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought it was this. I mean, I didn't dislike it. But and I went through it. But I thought exactly the same as you. It was TV episodes put together. It was like a series of maybe you could have probably got 5 TV episodes out of that. Couldn't
Yeah,
you?
easy.
Like 45 minutes. Different stories. I mean, talking about borrowing from films. What about Gladiator?
Oh yeah. There's a bit that's very reminiscent of Gladiator, very reminiscent of Thor Ragnarok. It's kind of like
So I mean, it was and as I say, the acting and the X-wing fighters, the actual pilots, were just totally unconvincing.
There was one X-wing fighter that I liked who was very, very matter of fact. He was like there was like no emotion whatsoever, and I actually quite liked that. I'm not sure whether it was intentional, but I like the idea of an X-wing fighter. So this is just a job, okay? Deploying lasers.
I think what they're trying to do here was they were trying to appeal to everybody. For the youngsters, they were trying to appeal to youngsters but have enough nostalgia in it to maybe appeal to some adults that went. Because I know, funny enough, it's funny you should say, the person I went to see before that made all those things, he said, because I said to him, why don't you come and watch it? He goes, do you know what? He said, I'm really, really not interested in Star Wars anymore. It's done its, he said, I used to love it, but, he must be in his 40s,
Yeah, and same as me, and I think pretty much where I am, pretty much where I am, and I think never mind. I was going to say something. Anyway, it wasn't going to be good. It wasn't going to be good. But I think no, that was it. There were bits of this because there are these characters. Like there's a character called Babu Frick who shows up in The Rise of Skywalker, and they show a lot of his. They're supposed to be like this tiny mechanics, and there's now 4 of them in this film. And when they showed up on the screen and they were doing the stuff with they were doing the stuff with Grogu, I was just kind of like hearing Sean going. I was like, oh, Sean is going to hate this. Sean's going to be, oh, look at this. They're just trying to sell toys. They're just trying to make like little action figures. And I'm like, yes, they are. they very clearly are.
But I think they tried, like I said, to keep enough in it to maybe perhaps hoping that it would appeal to the Star Wars fans. With the X-Wings and the certain time. Again, there's reminiscence of that, that piece with the TIE fighters, but not TIE fighters sort of thing.
Well, yeah, but the X-Wings showing up and everything. And I think even the bit where he, even the bits that are Mandalorian, like, because they show that he straight up murders people. They make no bones about that. Like, straight up murders people. So you have that bit. I hear what you mean. They have that bit that's a bit more brutal than a lot of stuff we've seen in Star Wars. Then with let's just have an interlude where these really really cute things walk around and do stuff. And it would have worked better as season 4. Even though I don't want to see season 4. But but how many stars did you give it, Sean?
Well, as I say, I didn't loathe it or hate it or anything like that, and I didn't think it was any special. So I think it's probably going to just probably a 3 for me. Probably just a sort of straight down the middle 3. Nothing special, but I didn't hate it too much.
Yeah, I spent the whole film going, this is either a 2 or a 3. This is either a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. I was
like, this is either a 2. Something will happen, I'll be like, okay, it's a 2. Okay, maybe it's a 3. So for me, it's 2.5.
Yeah. I was thinking that 2.5, but I think I didn't quite dislike it enough so I'm going to give it a 3.
Oh, right, cool. So I was surprised. I thought that you would hate
it,
the kiddie bits, but but hey, Although I'll say one more thing. I'll say one thing though. The music is still excellent.
Yeah.
Ludwig Göransson. The Mandalorian theme is awesome. But anyway. All right, cool. Now let's go over to Netflix and Friends. And I think this is actually on Netflix that Sharon saw this. And this is Small Things Like This. These or this.
I don't know. I had to look it up when I put
Okay,
it on.
I'll tell you what. You tell us about it. I'll look it up.
Yeah, this is a film with Cillian Murphy as the main character, and he is a man called Bill, who is a coal merchant in a rural Ireland. And one day he's delivering coal to the local convoy, the convent. It's very much 1980s. The church still pre-scandals. The church is very much dominating the local town. They run the school. They have influence in the politics. They have influence in the whole community. They are the force in the town. And one day, while he is delivering coal, he witnesses a teenage girl who's, to use the term, has got in trouble and has been left with the sisters to sort her out. And the implication being that she's pregnant and that she's gone to the sisters to have her baby quietly out of the way. And she's very distressed. She's crying. She's begging her mum not to leave her there. But he sees her then being dragged away. Obviously, he's a father of like 5 daughters, I think it is, in the film. And we see a bit of his backstory. It turns out that he is the illegitimate son of a single mother, and that he and his mum were taken in by a lady who had like the local sort of farm and employed his mum and kept him in and educated him and looked after him. So he identifies with this young girl because that was his mum. She was that young girl, but for the grace of God, he stayed with his mum and he had like a reasonable childhood. And so he witnesses this girl being dragged off, and it sort of worries him. And then he goes back a few days later, again delivering coal. And when he unlocks the coal shed, he finds this girl hiding in the coal shed. She's been tied up and she's been left in there, and it's freezing cold, and she's in some distress. And he basically tries to see if there's anything he can do. And the abbess of the mother superior of the convent, basically brings the powers to bear, but in a really subtle way. First of all, she says, how are your daughters? Oh, I see one of your daughters is due to start school next year. But you know what places are like in our school? So hard to get a place, but we'll do our best. How's your wife doing? How's her life? And I wonder how are you getting on? Can you cope? Oh, here's a little bit of money for your wife, just to wish her happy Christmas and things like this. So this sort of subtle power play about saying, that forget what you've seen, forget what you've heard, toe the line. And everyone says, look, don't get involved, leave it. This is just the way things are, this is the way life is. But he decides that, well, it's his conscience. It's like, does he go with what his conscience says? And does he think with this, reflecting on his own circumstances, is this something that he can walk away from? And that's where the conflict of the story is. It's quite subtly played. You don't see any big acts of violence. You see this sort of girl, sort of in tears, sort of emotional distress, but you don't see her being physically abused. It's all just implied, that this is just, she's there as this sort of repentant sinner, and she's going to be treated like an unrepentant sinner, as it were. So it's this sort of subtle powers that are brought to bear, and do you go against the prevailing? Do you stand by conscience? Do you go against the prevailing atmosphere and turn a blind eye to some things, or do you act on your conscience? And so that's what the film is about. This man and that challenge to what he thinks is right. Yeah.
Can I just say, actually, it sounds quite intriguing because you always get horrible nuns. I don't know why. Whenever I've seen films, Conspiracy of Hearts, and even I don't even like the nuns in Sound of Music, to be honest. The Mother Superior and that they just seem, they're creepy, horrid things.
I think
Do you know what I mean?
that is true, because they're hard. These are tough nuns. They're not, and you think there must be some people who have that calling, who are genuinely women of faith, who just want to devote themselves to prayer and to God. So they are out there. But it's just we don't see them in film very often. But in this film, we see the tough as nails ones.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. We do see a lot of the nuns in films. We see are the toughest nails, evil ones, like evil, like
Yeah,
yeah, like the nuns lend themselves very much to horror. But I
Yeah.
think also before this is like 1980s Ireland. I think that it's
yeah.
definitely speaking to that because I know Cillian Murphy seems to have been doing a lot of films like on that, all about conscience and all that. But what did you think? And do you think that they executed that well? Because a kind of film like this, it's all in the execution.
Absolutely. I did. I think they trod that line very well between you can see the how the influence of this church, and by going against it, you are going against, that everything. That if
Yeah,
the church is this rock
System.
on which your society is built, you don't try to you attack that, do you? You sometimes it's like about the state, and everyone is telling you, leave it. And then you're thinking,
keep your
am
head
I
down.
damaging my daughter's future? Am I rocking the boat unnecessarily? Am I causing pain to my wife and to my, or am I, what, what is the best thing? And I think they did tread that line between a man of conscience, and he does play this character as someone who is almost internalized. He's not a sort of big outgoing guy. He's quite really sort of internalized. He's devoted to his wife and to his daughters, but you don't see him really um, having that much of a life. And you can see it's reflected in his like childhood. He was very much
Yeah,
um, had this sort of he was very much isolated because of his illegitimacy. There's one scene where his mum is like cleaning spit off of his coat because he was spat at, and it was like, well, why that? And it's obviously because he was called names about the
yeah.
fact that he was an illegitimate child in these, in these circles. So I thought it did it really well. To be honest with you, I thought he played it subtly enough that it kept it real rather than being a caricature. Because some people, when they play introvert, you think, is that really someone?
That,
Because
that, that's a caricature as opposed to a real person.
yeah, so no, I thought they did it well, and that sense of conflict. But as a parent of teenage girls, he was like thinking, putting his daughter in that place and thinking, is this
Yeah.
how I want my daughter to be treated in these circumstances? No, I thought they did it really well, and I found it, yeah, sort of like a sort of touching little film. But yeah,
How many
made me,
stars?
yeah, it was good. So I would give it. Oh, I think to me it's like a 3.75, 3.75. Not quite a four for me, but definitely something I found was it kept me engaged the whole time I was watching it, and the characters are all done again. Even Emma Watson, who played
You
the
mean
Mother Superior,
you mean Emily Mortimer?
Emily Watson. Oh, sorry, Emily Watson.
Oh,
I
Emily
get
Watson. Emily
Emily.
Watson. Yeah, Emily Watson. Yeah.
Emily Watson. She's remarkable anyway, but she plays that steely strength with a hint of "don't mess with me" really well in this. The character as
Yeah.
the Mother Superior, because you can see that she has that got steeliness, hasn't she? But she can play something like the mum in Warhorse, where she's full of compassion and warmth, so she can just turn on her. So no, I thought it was well done. Yeah, but yeah, for me, a 3.75.
I think Emily Watson, even when she plays like the mother who's full of warmth, I still get a "don't mess with me."
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
still get a "don't mess with me" vibe from her.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds quite an interesting little movie. Really, it's funny against the system. You couldn't, you can't fight against. Well, back in that time, you couldn't fight against the
No,
system. Same as Hollywood, same as anything. You come up,
you
you're
could.
talking a whole mountain of trouble, aren't you? So sounds quite good. That I might have to watch that just purely to find out what happens in the end because you're
Yeah,
not going to
that's
tell us, are you, Sharon? Because you
so.
can't.
Yeah, no. Sharon is a woman of cinematic principles.
She
She will
is
never
a
tell
very
you the end.
principled lady.
So it's and okay, it's small things like these. Just
like these, not this,
like
these.
these.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, just quickly, Sean, forgot to ask. Question we ask ourselves all the time: would you watch the Mandalorian and Grogu in cinemas, or wait for it to show up on Disney Plus?
Oh, for me, it probably wouldn't make a lot of difference. I think it might be good to watch in, format, and maybe IMAX, or might enhance it to a certain degree. So, yeah,
Yeah.
but I
What?
think, I think it's like like a TV episode. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think for me, not being a big fan of IMAX, thinking it's a bit of a rip-off, I would say wait until it shows up on Disney Plus. I
yeah.
don't think you have to leave your house to go to the cinema to watch this. It's yeah. Yeah, and I'll leave it at that. And now let's move on to the next thing we're going to talk about is cinema, and this is Obsession.
Obsession.
Obsession. Now, Sean, would you like me to give a rundown of this and then wind you up and let you go?
Yeah, certainly that's the best way to do. So
All
I
right.
mean, I wear my heart on my sleeve, don't I?
Yeah, yeah. So I'll say with this, the main reason I watched this film was because people have been raving about it. I mean, this is a real word of mouth hit, quite frankly, like a sleeper hit. Because I don't think that there wasn't much advertising for it. I didn't see a trailer or anything like that. But all of a sudden, this one came out. People were just saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." On Facebook, I'm a member of some film groups, and people are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." And I've heard I've heard things about it saying, "Oh, this is great, one of the best female performances in a horror movie." Blah 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 blah. So I actually went to go see it. But the whole thing about this is that you kick off with this guy, and this guy who's called they call him Bear. I think his full name is Baron or something like that. And he works in a music store, and he's like, your typical besotted with his co-worker, has loved her for years but never been able to say anything, and this kind of person who just he can't open his mouth and say, "Would you go out with me?" or anything like that, or "I like you," and he doesn't know how to do it. And then once he's on the phone with this woman, Nikki, and says that she's lost something, so he goes to a shop to buy a replacement for her, but it's one of these sort of like new age stores, and he finds this thing called a one wish willow, and the person says, "Oh yeah, one wish willow, if you can make you're allowed one wish and only one wish, and if you make the wish and you snap it, your wish will come through true." And he's like, does that really work?" And the woman there's like, "I don't know," but she's like, "But we do have a lot of people coming in and complaining afterwards." He's like, "What, complaining that the wish didn't work or that it did?" She's like, "I don't know." So he goes off and he has this one of these awkward things in the car where he's sat there with her and he's trying to tell her something, and she asks him straight up, like, "Do you like me?" And he's like, "Oh, I guess we're just like friends or something." And then she walks off, and then he just grabs the one wish willow and he goes, I wish Nikki loved me more than anybody in the effing world." And he snaps the willow. And then, as it happens, because it's a horror film, everybody's lives gets destroyed. So that's what happens. So I mean, the fact that the film is called Obsession, you can guess what happens when he wishes that and he breaks the one wish willow, and that is the basic setup of the film. Sean, what did you think?
Okay, so that was quite funny. Funny about that, how good it is. Also how people think how good it is I saw Simon, because before I went to see Mandalorian, I went into Kentucky Friday and he was there, and I said, "What are you going to go to?" "I'm going to see Obsession again." He really, really liked it. Now,
Yeah.
for me, okay, I tell you what, Toes.
Yep.
There's one scene, and let's just say a motor car, where it was set up and you knew something.
You knew exactly what was going to happen.
You know exactly what
You
was
know
going to happen.
exactly what's gonna happen.
But how about this? I jumped.
Oh, when it actually
Still,
happened.
when I knew it was going to happen. Still, when I knew it was set up, and you thought, I was like, "Oh, here we go. This is one of them tropes. This is one of them tropes. This is one of them."
The one with two people in the car.
I would have heckled it, yeah. So that's right, yeah. But the reason was there was two other people that sort of jumped. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that
A
made
little
me
baby
think
boat,
like a reaction because the other people did. There was like the seats moved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The cinema seats. For me, I really find it hard to relate to wimpy characters. I don't know why. I just really, really didn't like him. I can't. You know what I mean? I can't do it. So I didn't.
Sure, I
I
agree
found
with you.
nothing sympathetic with him. I found nothing. I had no sympathy for him whatsoever. So I thought, well, you made your bed, you better lie in it. And even then, after these things are going on, he's still making excuses, and still.
Yeah.
And it's like, get out of here, for God's sake! Go it, man, go! I'd leave the country, leave the state. He wouldn't carry on like that. So I guess maybe it was meant to, but I found it a little bit annoying. But
I'm with you, Sean.
yeah, you're with me on that, are you?
I'm with you on that. And the thing is, I agree with you. Like, when you have like characters like this, especially, and it's a bit of a trope. The guy who's in love with a girl and can't open his mouth to tell her. Think almost like an '80s John Hughes movie. And the thing is, I find them annoying as well. And I'm not sure whether it's because I see too much of myself in them. But
Right. I can't imagine you being like that, Toast.
Oh,
No
you
way.
didn't know me when I was a kid.
Oh, right, okay.
You didn't know me when I was a teenager. So it's like, I'm not sure, but yeah, he really, really annoyed me. In that the number of times, like, oh, for goodness sake, just. I'm not sure it's because you know you're watching a film. You're like, if you just open your mouth right now, so many people will be able to keep their lives. If you just say, and it's like, and the thing is like with. But I feel like, okay, for instance, the cinema I went to watch it, right, when I actually booked my ticket, there were about 5 seats left for me to book.
Wow.
Like, it was packed out, and this is like, I thought it's been out a couple of weeks. So I think what is word of mouth has been going. There were people there there was mostly younger people, and I think there were a lot of people who were on dates, and they all came out of the film finding it funny. And I feel like all of a sudden, like, I feel like the people who are making films, they're making films for people who maybe or maybe the younger generation, as old as that makes me sound, are not as well versed in things like, okay, jump scares and this. If somebody is sitting in a car and then the window is prominently featured and everything like that, they're either about to get hit by a car or something is coming through that window.
Yeah.
It's like for instance, I was watching that and I was like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. Come on, obviously this is what's gonna happen. Why are you waiting? This is what's gonna. Oh, there it is. It did.
There it is. Yeah.
It's like, there it is. It did happen. And then even when it did happen, the guy Bear, who's played by Michael Johnston, his reaction to it, I was like, oh, for goodness sake, you absolute. He just annoyed the life out of me.
He did. He really did, didn't he?
But I will say this thing. I mean, the performance from Indy Navarrete, who plays Nikki, she's essentially, she becomes like the bogeyman in the film. I thought she was excellent.
Yeah. I like that.
I thought she was excellent. The whole idea of like something is off quite here, and because you get to see her a little bit at the beginning of the film, you know, okay, this isn't her. This isn't her, and where it goes with it, you can see that there's a little bit of, I mean, people have said about Jordan Peele, and there's a very obvious Jordan Peele-ish thing that they do in the film. And all in all, I think I'm a big fan of horror movies anyway. So it might mean that the film was effective in that I didn't quite like it, but I did not think it was as great as everybody is yelling about. I feel like it was like a 90, like even with the title Obsession, this could be the 90s thriller. It could be Fatal Attraction. Yeah. It's just kind of like Fatal Attraction, but now we have a supernatural bent. That's how it felt like. That's what it felt like to me.
That's it. The ending, I was intrigued by the ending. I couldn't quite figure. I mean, funny enough, I had this discussion with Simon, and I said I thought it was a certain thing that the person had done, but he said,
"Oh yeah."
I said, "Well, I think it probably is because you know of what happened
because of the way by the sequence of events that happens at the end."
Yeah. So and it was sort of all anyway. But yeah, so no, it was a strange one. But I think you're exactly right about catering for a certain audience, because it's like me and Sharon hated bodies. But
yes,
Simon and his cronies thought it was the greatest thing.
I think the younger people seem to love that film.
Yeah,
I've never actually watched it, but younger people, it's man, I sound so old. So how many stars would you give Obsession?
Don't know, probably. I don't know. He really annoyed me, but she might bring it up a little bit. So probably this will be a 3 as well. This will probably be a 3 as well.
I agree with you. For me, it's a 3. I don't think it's as great as everybody says, but I'm happy if it's getting people into cinema.
Yeah, if it's getting people into the cinema. Yeah. And there was a couple, like you say, there's a couple of moments in it. I think the bit in the shadows, the hiding in the shadows.
Oh yeah. I think lighting-wise, cinematography-wise, they did very well with this film. They did there's bits. There's one particular shot where I don't know how they did it, but they managed to make it so that essentially you can't see her face, but you can see her eyes.
Yeah.
The only thing, And I was like, it's a very, very well shot film.
Yes.
So directed by Curry Barker. But Sean, question we ask ourselves: would you say see Obsession in a cinema or wait until it shows up on a streaming platform?
Well, I would wait until I wouldn't go to the cinema to see it again. I'd wait until it shows up. I think with the majority of those films, you could wait for it to show up on.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe for the jump scare, perhaps, because as I say, I think it was the seats that move. You know what I mean? I think it was on a rocky seat, and when everyone else jumped, it's sort of the seat itself nearly.
Now, this is one of those Netflix versus cinema things for me, because I I would actually recommend you go see this in the cinema because I think people are going to be watching it for a while. And because
Yeah.
people are going to be watching it for a while, you're going to have probably a packed cinema to watch this thing in. So I'll go see it as soon as possible with a packed cinema because as much as I was thinking that this film was by the numbers and just straight down the middle and all that kind of stuff, and I've seen all this before, and as much as I was thinking that, I did really enjoy being in a cinema full of people who were going, oh, no way! And the fact that afterwards, that you people were actually walking out laughing and saying, "Oh my god, I can't believe he did that," or that bit where they did that bit, or that bit where she was standing there and just waiting for him to come back home. And, it's like, and I was like, "Okay, cool, yeah." I actually quite, and I enjoyed the experience of watching the film probably more than I enjoyed the film. So yeah, I would say go see it in the cinema. Right, and now let's go back to streaming, and we're going to talk Prime Video. This is The Boys Season 5.
Season 5, the
So
last
The Boys has finally ended. It's come to the end. Homelander and Billy Butcher have done their thing. And obviously, because we cannot talk spoilers, we cannot talk about what actually happens in the end. Sean, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I mean, by this time, anybody who's going to talk about it knows what The Boys is.
Yeah.
They know what The Boys is. It's like, it's a superhero satire. Only that, imagine if you had the superhero, you had the Justice League, only that this time round, all the superheroes are less than upstanding.
Yeah.
Quite frankly,
Not all of them. Not all of them.
not all of them, but most of them.
Yeah,
most of them. Essentially, like you can almost sort of pick each one of them as a celebrity, and say that's that celebrity, that's that celebrity, that's that celebrity, and so by the time you got to the season 5, it's building up to this confrontation between the boys who are supposed to police superheroes and the superheroes themselves, especially Homelander, who is like an avatar for Superman. Sean,
Yes.
what did you
Yeah,
think?
that's it really. There was but yeah, again, the annoying character on about characters is the Aquaman knockoff Deep. They call him Deep.
The Deep, yeah,
And
the
he's
Deep,
just so wimpy. Oh mate, get out of here. But he has a bit of an altercation in this one with the creatures of the sea. So that's quite an interesting. Little.
Okay, all right, yeah.
He's told to do something, and it sort of upsets. Should we say upsets?
Well, the thing is, they're always doing weird things. They're always doing really weird, upsetting things with the deep and sea creatures. They're always doing.
So basically, this is obviously they're trying to find this virus that will kill all superheroes. Basically, they're trying to do this, and everybody's hunting for it. So you've got Homelander hunting for it. You've got the boys hunting for it, and they try, and they're trying out new things to try and give. Is it Nico or the girl? The girl. So.
Oh yeah, Nico. She's
because she can regenerate, can't she? She can regenerate. So
they call her Kimiko in the TV show.
Kimiko, yeah, Kimiko. Yeah. So Kimiko, yeah. So they sort of half enhance her power. The thing is with this, and then you've got Soldier Boy and Homelander.
Yeah.
That obviously the relationship there. I won't say what it is because people don't know. And they become buddies. They become good buddies. He gets a chance of destroying Homelander, but he goes no, all that. So, and it's so full of. The last episode is just so full of inconsistencies of, I mean, so you've got a Superman power. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, Toes. I like the boys.
I'll put it this way. A friend of mine, Simon, I was speaking to him, and he said that he'd been watching them. Like, obviously, they were releasing them week by week, and he got to like the second to last episode, and he was kind of like they have to bring this back. But I think he was worried that there was too much storyline to wrap up in one episode.
Yeah.
At the end, they don't know how when they left too much stuff open, and then the last episode he wasn't sure was going to be satisfying, and that's what he was really, really worried about because he likes the show a lot. It sounds like you're saying that he didn't.
He didn't. What did he think of the last episode?
I haven't actually asked him. I spoke to him when the last episode hadn't been released yet.
Yeah. I don't think it's the best series of all of the ones in the past. I didn't think it was quite as good. They were good. It's like a lot of things. There were some really, really good episodes.
Yeah.
And others that were not very good. Normally, all the episodes I've seen in the series, I've liked every one. There were a couple in this where I was like, this doesn't catch up. And you get a few characters from, is it Gen V?
Gen V.
Gen V. There's a couple of those that turn up.
The way the last season of Gen V ended, you would expect them to have been in this season, yeah.
Yeah. So, but as I say, it's from... I don't know. really annoys me in the films. I used to find that in some of the Avengers films with particular characters is that you know their powers vary. In one episode, they're like
Yeah.
just totally, and then another episode they're getting beat to hell. You know, and it's like
Yeah, see my previous thing about Grogu. Yep.
yes, yeah, and it's like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, so I'm not saying it's bad. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed a lot of episodes, but I did find it like hurried, should we say? Or it was less like, come on, let's get this out the way.
Yep.
Let's get this.
Yep.
Let's move this on. Let's move this on. Let's find one way of doing it. Then we can just knock it on the head.
The last season of Game of Thrones effect.
Yeah, the last. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Sorry, you were gonna say.
Yeah, no. So it was. Yeah. No, sorry. Yeah, go on, Toes. Tell me what.
Yeah. How many stars did you give it?
Okay, so this. I mean, I've been pretty consistent all the time, so I'll probably give it a 3 stars.
Give it a
I'll probably
3.
give it. Yeah, I think on the whole,
Yeah.
for the whole series, there were some good moments, but I did have a few issues with a couple of.
It sounds a little like it went out on the weakest season of the lot.
Yes. Yeah, which is a shame because you would like to finish on a high.
Well, yeah. The thing is, I was actually thinking about why is it that I haven't really watched this one, and I think it's because I actually read the comics. I read the comics and I knew where the comics went or how the comics come. And I felt like in the TV show they were treading water a bit and they were just elongating it. So even now that they finished it, I think there's a little bit in my mind that thinks, yeah, season 5, you should have stopped at season 3.
Yeah. I think you're right there, Toast.
I think there's a little bit of that. That I'm just being snobbish, but I should watch that.
I mean, there are some deaths in it, so yeah.
Yeah,
some-
you'd hope so.
you would expect that on the major characters, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
On all
I mean,
sides,
yeah,
on all
there's.
sides, yeah.
Okay. To quote Simon, and I don't think that this isn't a spoiler because we don't know this is definitely going to happen. But he says, if you don't kill Homelander, what the hell is the point of the show?
Yeah, exactly.
He was like, if you don't kill Homelander, you're just sort of saying this thing is going to continue forever. But okay, anyway. Right, and now we're going to go back to cinema, and we are going to talk The Sheep Detectives, or I'm going to talk The Sheep Detectives quite quickly because I am the only one who's seen it, and it will just be me talking at you guys. So The Sheep Detectives, this is, in general, what... You guys remember Babe, right? The 1995 film starring James Cromwell, Talking Big. Think Babe. This is essentially in that baby verse, kind of so to say, because it stars Hugh Jackman as a farmer, and as he's a farmer and he has sheep and he loves his sheep. He like absolutely loves them. He looks after them. He gives all of them names, and he he gives all of them names and he reads a story to them every night. He says, like, it starts off with him writing a letter, and he's quoting this letter to somebody called Rebecca, and he's talking about the sheep. He's talking about how I love this one. This is Lily. She's the smartest one. This is blah, blah, blah. And he's talking about all the different sheep that he has. And he says, like, I don't like to think that they understand what I'm talking about because when I read them a detective story every night, and he reads them your typical Agatha Christie's and all that. And he's like, I know they can't understand me, but it makes me feel happy to think that they do understand me. And then after he finishes narrating that, it switches to the sheep's point of view, and the sheep he stops before this final chapter, and like he goes inside, and all the sheep going, "Oh, come on! How can he leave it there?" Because the sheep talk, and the sheep talk, and the sheep all are voiced by various. I mean, one of the fun things was listening to the sheep and going, "Hang on. Who is that? Who does that voice?" Because the sheep are voiced by famous people. Sheep are voiced by, and you have like the old cantankerous sheep that's been there forever, and you have like the really, really smart sheep, and everybody's like, one of them is like, "Oh, I think the maid did it," and the other one is like, "No, it couldn't possibly be the maid. It's this, it's that, it's that." And then the next day, Hugh Jackman comes back out and he reads the conclusion, and he says, they show it from his point of view, where he goes, "And it was the butler." And then one sheep just goes, "Meh," and the others go, "Meh." So I think I actually quite like this film. I feel like this film is quite clever. It's quite clever in what it does. I mean, once you accept the central concept or the central conceit that these are sheep that can talk and can figure stuff out, and they have like a hierarchy within the sheep which they go into. There's something called like There's something called the winter lamb, where that is ostracized by all the other sheep, and that sort of like plays into the storyline and everything. But one day the farmer shows up dead. This is all part of the setup. The farmer shows up dead, and you have an inept local police officer, which there always is an inept police officer, because this is in a village called Denbrook, which to begin with I wasn't sure where in the world it was supposed to be. Was it supposed to be New Zealand, Australia? But I think eventually it ends up it's supposed to be England. It's supposed to be somewhere in England. And the sheep decide that they are going to find out who killed their farmer because the police officer is useless. But because they have been heard all this stuff about the detective novels and all that, they know how to go about it. And so it becomes this very, very Babe-esque thing of this sheep going around trying to figure out who killed their farmer, with all these humans who cannot understand the sheep, but the humans point out and keep talking about the fact and keep going. Every time something interesting happens, there's always this sheep here. What are the sheep doing here? And the policeman, I have to say, full props to Nicholas Braun, because Nicholas Braun is an American actor, and if I didn't know he was an American actor, I would not have figured it out. I would not have figured it out. This film has quite a cast. Forget the people who are doing the voices. Emma Thompson shows up at some point. You have Nicholas Galitzin, you got Nicholas Braun, you have obviously Hugh Jackman, Hong Chow, and so it has quite a good cast. And I think what they're doing is the whole thing almost like think Knives Out, but with sheep. so essentially this whole thing where they put it with so many good characters that you're kind of going, okay, it's them. Oh no, hang on a second, it could be them. Hang on, they're in the film, or they're only in the film for 5 seconds. They wouldn't bring somebody like them in the film unless they were the killer. And it's actually, for a film that sounds stupid, it is one of the most effective things in keeping you guessing as to who the actual killer is. And at the end, when they actually reveal the killer, I'm kind of like, of course it was that one! But I have to admit that I did not figure out who the killer was until very, very late in the day. Even though all the signs were there coming up to it. So I really enjoyed it. I would say if it's still in the cinema near you, go watch it. Go catch it. I mean, Sharon, I think you'd love it. I think this film has you all over it. And I would give it a 4. I would give The Sheep Detectives 4 out of 5. It's one of the best murder mysteries that I've seen on the big screen in a while. It's good stuff.
I was wanting to see this one, but the film times have been around the last film has been about 4 o'clock.
Yeah, they have been. They've essentially been scheduling this film like the only people who are going to want to see it are kids, and I think that is a mistake.
Yeah,
I think that's,
it's 4:50, I think, tomorrow, so it's penciled in. If I can finish with my obligations by 4:50, I'm going to try to get to see it because I do want to see this one. I think it will be fun.
it is definitely fun. Love it. Love The Sheep Detectives. It's good. It's good. I'll stop talking. And as to whether I think you should go see this in the cinema or see this at home, I think you should go see this in the cinema. I think it does. It warrants it. It warrants it. It gives you. I mean, it could be a good cozy Sunday afternoon theme, but I say go to the cinema, see it, big screen, all that. It warrants it. And and also the effects, because obviously this have to be CGI sheep. And I feel like there's not that many places in which you look at it and go, that doesn't look right. You kind of forget you're watching, you just think you're watching sheep that can talk. Unlike the Mandalorian and Grogu, because some of the effects, especially at the beginning, sure, you know when they have like the AT-AT walkers and they have like the smaller...
Yeah.
I was looking at going, that doesn't look right. But okay, cool. So now we go into the final thing we're going to talk about this week, and that is the Other Bennett Sister. I believe this is a BBC show.
BBC thing, yeah, that's available on the iPlayer.
I've seen about 2 of these, I think.
Oh, 2 episodes of the Other Bennett Sister.
I've seen a couple of episodes, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 10-parter, I think, but they're half-an-hour episodes, so they're nice little pieces of, but you can watch it however many or few as you want at a time. But the Other Bennett Sister,
you just
Can I just ask one question? Is the Other Bennett Sister in the books?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Anyway.
Well, the thing is that there's actually a book called The Other Bennett Sister.
Oh, there is. Oh, right, okay.
Sharon is probably going to explain the whole concept of the whole thing. But Sharon, I have to say that on that last sentence you just sort of said, you sent me on a journey where you were like, there are 10 episodes. I was like, but they're only half an hour long. And I was like, oh, maybe I will watch it. All right, cool. So, Sharon, tell us about The Other Bennett.
Bite-sized pieces. Yes, so it's inspired by Pride and Prejudice. Mary Bennett is the middle of the sisters. So there are 5 Bennett sisters. You've got Jane and Lizzie. They're the main characters of Pride and Prejudice. You know, Jane marries Mr. Bingley. Elizabeth marries Mr. Darcy. Then you've got the 2 younger ones. You've got Kitty and you've got Lydia. And sort of Kitty is the sort of, she's silly, but not as silly as her sister. But she's like obsessed with soldiers. And then there's Lydia, who's the one who runs off with Mr. Wickham, lives in sin, and Mr. Darcy forces them to get married by buying up all their debt, just to save the protection of the one he loves. So it's, and then Mary's the one in the middle. She's the one who doesn't quite fit in with it. The others are all like either pretty and elegant or pretty and silly, and she's the one in the middle who doesn't quite fit. She feels the odd one out. And in Jane Austen, I love Jane Austen, but I think she's got a bit of a sharp eye and a bit of a sharp tongue on her. So I think if you'd met the real Jane Austen, you would be aware that she's got this sort of really, she would pick you, she'd focus in on your faults, and she'd be quite ruthless in about identifying where someone's faults lie. So I think, like many people, I've always felt a bit sorry for Mary, because she's the earnest one. She's the one who means well, tries hard, but it never quite works for her. And in this book, it's basically it's sort of giving Mary Bennett her own story. And so this takes place, this starts off in the same timeline as Pride and Prejudice. So you see some of these events from Mary's point of view. She has a horrible experience at a ball. She's deeply humiliated, and you see it from her point of view. And also you meet Mr. Collins, who is almost like a grotesque character in some ways in the book, and he's a figure of fun in Pride and Prejudice. But this is sort of gives him a little bit of humanity, where you see that behind this awkwardness and behind this seemingly sort of odious exterior, there is actually a man of feeling underneath there, and you get to see Mr. Collins with a bit more sympathy. So this is Mary's story, how when all her sisters have got married and she's left alone, how she has to find her own way in the world. And part of that is by becoming a governess to her aunt and uncle's children, the gardeners. And so she goes to stay in London, and she becomes their governess, as what often happened in families where they had an unmarried daughter. They went to live with relatives and they got put to use. And while she's there, she starts to meet other interesting people. And she finds that the things that she was scorned for, like her love of books and her love of other, music,
The alternative lifestyle.
that they embrace her and encourage her, and so she begins to sort of find her own place where she's not always compared unfavourably to her sisters. She's actually got her own little bit of agency, and then the story follows through basically her adventures, where you encounter some of the characters from Pride and Prejudice. You've got the gardeners, you've got Miss Bingley, who's a bit of a fright in Pride and Prejudice. She's the really snobby sister of Mr. Bingley, who had her eye on Mr. Darcy, but he was having none of it. So she's now desperately, she's thinking, oh, I'm getting older and I need to get married, and like now. And then you meet Mr. Collins, Charlotte Lucas again, and the other Bennett sisters, and Mrs. Bennett, Mr. and Mrs. Bennett as well. So it sort of takes that original foundation and then sort of expands that world, and you get to see Mary in her own right.
So, I mean, obviously, if you know Pride and Prejudice, you get a lot from this. But if you're not a Pride and Prejudice fan or know much about it, is there still something here for you?
Oh yeah, you get enough they tell you enough of the story from the original Pride and Prejudice that you get it, and that you get vignettes of like Mr. Darcy. He appears in it very briefly, and he's not a character in this merely. He's not central to the story. So he's in it enough to know that he's there, but not enough that you're distracted by him. But no, see, I think you don't have to be a fan of Pride. If you've seen one of the Pride and Prejudice films or one of the television series, then you get it. Then you know where you are. And I thought
T-shirts.
Yes, you get 2 wet shirts in this one. It turns out that as the story progresses, there are 2 gentlemen who are interested in Mary for different reasons, and both of them end up in the water with a wet shirt. So double the fun. But there's also a nice, charming note, I thought, in the big early scenes. The housekeeper of the Bennets is Mrs. Hill, and Mrs. Hill is played by the actress Lucy Byers, who played Mary Bennet in the 1995 Colin Firth Pride and Prejudice.
Oh,
Same
nice.
actress. So we've got Mary Bennet meets Mary Bennet and sort of gives her this sort of shoulder to cry on and sort of sisterly advice, because it's like from one Mary to another. So that's a really nice touch, I thought, for all those PMP fans from way back. But no, I liked it. I liked the book, actually. I read the book. I normally scorn things that are in fan fiction and inspired by.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I must admit, like, go away, write your own book. But this, I really actually enjoyed. The Other Bennett Sister. There's a few Pride and Prejudice spin-offs that I've enjoyed, much to my horror. But I did actually really enjoy this because I really liked the fact that, Mary Bennet was given her own voice, that Mr. Collins was almost like reinvented, and some of the other sisters, who are adored, actually probably were not that good a sister to Mary. If we're
Was Mr. Collins the vicar in the TV series?
He's the vicar, yeah.
Yeah, he's the vicar. Yeah.
He is the vicar, but the book they do lose quite a bit of the book. There's quite a few characters that we revisit, like Lady Catherine de Bourgh, Mr. Berg, there's quite a few of the others who are in the book, but they've cut them out. I think because it overcomplicates the story. But they have kept it neat. They kept it tidy. These half-hour episodes suit it down to the ground. And I really liked it. I thought they all played it really well. And I think each of them had the right characterization that made you think, yes, I can see that's Jane Austen's Mary Bennet, but I can also see her, expanded upon. So I liked it very much.
So it's like when you said Mr. de Bourgh, only thing I think of was Chris de Bourgh in my head, just like thinking lady.
Yeah, Chris de Bourgh, funny.
Catherine de Bourgh, it's not quite the same as Chris de Bourgh.
All right, cool. So how many stars are we giving The Other Bennett Sister?
I would give this a 4.25 even. I would say it's elevated. I liked it. So, I think I'll happily go, 4.25 with this one.
Well, you see, now that's the thing.
I think I saw, as I say, I'm sure when I was at my mum's at one point, I saw 2 episodes of it. Possibly, And I think it must have been when they were still in the Bennett household, because, she was, So, because she's got glasses, and she?
She's wearing glasses.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, played by Ella Bucchileri. Bucchileri. Yeah, but she plays that. It's all right. Cool. So 4.25. Okay, that's the last thing we're going to talk about. I might have to. I keep saying I might have to watch that, but then there's too many things. So, there's too many things. But anyway, final question: who do you think has won this week? Netflix or cinema?
I think Netflix probably.
Yeah, streaming, Netflix and streamers.
Yeah, streaming and Netflix has done it. Weirdly, ironically enough, the big release this week, Mandalorian and Grogu, has done it for cinema. Has like holding a little bit. I think that there was a little bit. There wasn't much coming back from after that. All right, cool. So just before we go, we love getting feedback on this show. We love it when people get in touch with us and actually say something. And on YouTube, there was a guy called Joseph Fallon who actually commented, and he commented on the full episode, because you can get our full episodes on YouTube. You can use that. You can use YouTube as a podcast listener and listen to our full episodes. And so this means he was actually listening to the full episode when he went. And if you remember that, I was. We love that, Joseph Fallon. We love you. If you're listening to this, let us know that you listened to this episode as well. But he says, because I was banging on about Power Ballad and how much I loved the film Power Ballad. And he says, you are bang on about Power Ballad. You can see why I like this guy. Yeah. And he says Peter MacDonald co-wrote it too. Peter MacDonald is the guy who plays the character Sandy, who I think runs away with every single scene that he's in. And so I don't think Power Ballad has actually even been released in cinemas yet, because it was a previous.
No.
So I would say go see it and see Peter MacDonald. And I'm just kind of like, oh my god, in that case, Peter MacDonald might be my new favorite. I fell in love with everything he's in. And also, Sean, do you remember ages ago, you reviewed a film called Violent Saturday?
I remember. Yep, I remember that. Yeah, it was a bit.
Yeah, we got somebody who actually commented on your review of Violent Saturday.
Really?
And it's someone who goes by the username Metal Face Movie Reviews 8979. And all he says is, "I'll punch you right on the kisser, see?"
All right.
And I said, not being Sean who watched this film, I assume that is a quote, because that sounds to me like a sort of James Cagney kind of quote thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Violent Saturday. I don't remember it being. It's well, actually anyway.
Yeah, it's like a 50s, 60s sort of gangstery type movie.
All right, cool.
Gangsters later on, so yeah.
Yeah, so it could be. So I punch you right in the kiss. I say could be a quote from the film.
Maybe not quite like that, Toes, but try that again. I'm not sure what that was supposed to be. That one.
What? I'll punch you right in the kiss. I say.
Yeah.
Pardon? Did you? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going for James Cagney.
Yeah.
I was going for James Cagney, but never mind. Anyway, that is it. Until next week, please do get us in touch. Get back in touch with us. Comment on our stuff on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. Do comment on that stuff. Let us know what it is you think about what we say. Give us other quotes that I can mangle so that Sean does not actually recognize what I'm supposed to be trying to do with my impression. But until that time next week, it's a goodbye from me.
That's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.
Toes, just one thing before we do go. Have you seen The Warriors? Talking about quotable movies.
Warriors, come out and play.
You obviously have. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I have. You know they're making that into a musical.
Really?
Lin-Manuel Miranda is making a Warriors musical.
Wow. There you go.
Anyway, on that note, thank you very much for joining us.
See you later.